Let me wait a couple seconds. I wonder if there's anything I need to do on my settings to... Okay. Hey y'all. If you want to come on for a coaching session, just a quick coaching session, I'm going to be on here until I'm bored of doing it because I have nothing else to do right now. So there's some stipulations, and I'm realizing because of the chat you probably can't see them. There are stipulations for coming up to coach for coaching. If you want to come up, make sure your camera's on and you're welcome. Thanks for thanking me. I appreciate that. You're going to want to click the little camera at the bottom and request to join and make sure that your camera's on. Thank you. And here are the stipulations. You can take a second to read these. The reason for stipulations is not because I want to, yes, I do want to exclude certain people from this, but it's based in value, and the people who live under these stipulations can receive the most value from my work. So I just want to make sure, that the people who can get the best help from me are the ones that get on the live here. So whenever you see stipulations for like anything that I'm offering, that's the reason why, is because I want to make sure that the people who can most deeply value what I have to offer are the ones who I'm speaking to. So we have someone who's requested to join. Please make sure that your camera is on. And then we'll jump into it. Here are the stipulations. I'm gonna set it. I wish I had something to, this is dangerous. I'm gonna try it. Let's see. I'll put it on this vase. This madness, maybe. Hopefully I don't destroy my laptop, but all right. I can't turn captions on the live, can I? Yeah, I have to like send it to my phone and then, hello, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I have lots of energy today, which is why I'm live. So I'm ready to share and experience y'all. So what question do you have? What's coming up?
Yeah, so um, basically, I did a timeline jump. I embodied the identity of me that feels safe, and immediately after that, I got those 8 orders, which was just incredible. And then they stopped. It left me with this like expectation where I was like grasping and grabbing, like, where did my orders go? What the hell? Like, come on, kind of thing. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I feel like I like have a knowing and a trusting that I'm gonna get orders, but not feel grabby about it.
Mm. Well, when there's a knowing and a trusting that you're going to get the orders, then there's not going to be the grabbiness, right? So, because like if you know it's going to happen, why are you grasping and saying like, where is it at? Because it's kind of like if you
Fair.
go to a restaurant and you order food, you're not following the waitress around like, hey, where's my food at? Where's like it's coming, right? Even if it's not there. And so, my Wi-Fi connection's a little off. I might come back in a second, but let me finish my thought. So right now, I want to know why it feels like the orders are not inevitably on their way. When I say like they're on their way, but they're coming, what's your initial response to that idea?
I think I want to push it away. Like, no, they're not. What are you talking about?
Mm. Okay, so that part of me that's coming up and saying no, not why are they saying that? What is their desire in expressing that thought to you?
I think it's a bit like who do you think you are that you get to have orders like this? You haven't earned it. You don't deserve it.
Okay. So they believe that you haven't earned it. They believe there's a couple things. It's like, do I deserve it? Or also, does it not make sense for me to receive it? Does it feel more like I need to feel like I deserve it thing, or I need it to make sense for me to receive this thing. Which of those feels more correct?
I think it's more, it needs to make sense for me to receive it.
Okay.
Like there has to be the sequence of events that line up, that logically make sense, that yields in me getting an order.
Okay. Now, here's something that I realized with a lot of like spiritual business owners is that we shy away from that self who's like, this should be logical. Like this needs to make sense. There needs to be a series of events that makes this click, right? And that is an aspect of yourself. Your logic is your friend. Your logic is actually a part of you that you are here to invite into the fold and make use of. And so the part of you, now the tone sometimes of that part of yourself can be a little rude. It can be kind of like, why, who are you? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. They can come off a little bit sassy and rude, and that's because they're scared, and when people are scared, they're rude a lot of the time. But this part of yourself wants things to make sense. That's what it's wanting. It's like,
Yeah.
I want something to like click for me where I can almost see the path of this unfold a bit. And so I would love for you to get into an open conversation with your logic and ask it, like, what would make this make sense to me? If like bare bones, what is the bare minimum thing that would allow this to be like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen? When I say opening up to that conversation, what comes up for you?
I can do that. Like that feels very doable to me. And I think the thing that comes up is like, well, obviously, if you believed in yourself, it would make sense and it would happen.
Okay. So it's asking for some self-belief. How do you, is that something that feels available to you and it feels like I just need to tap into that for a second, or maybe I forgot to tap into that this morning and I haven't even thought about self-belief in the past few days? Or is there something that feels like completely separate from self-belief?
I feel separate from self-belief.
All right. So the part of you that is wanting things to make sense is asking for you to prioritize self-belief over sales right now. Because essentially what your brain is kind of wanting to do is, if I have sales, then I'll believe in myself. And it's like, that's not, unfortunately, that's not the way this reality likes to work most efficiently. It wants you to do it first, and then it responds to what you do. And so my coaching for you to employ, like, take 10 minutes today and ask yourself, like, how can I most prioritize self-belief? How can I make that my number one priority for like the next 3 days?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's going to be hard. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I want you to open up to that, to receiving an answer about that. Like I'm open to receiving an answer about how I want to prioritize self-belief.
Okay, that feels better. I think that I can definitely do.
Cool. It's a kind of a little in-between step.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, thanks for coming up. All right, those of you who are waiting in the little chatty thing, I'm gonna switch Wi-Fi's for a second. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, we have like 2 Wi-Fi's in my house. I need to make sure I'm on the right one. All right. I think I have successfully invited someone else up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. So hold on. I need to. Can I remove? Hold on. I don't know how to make it so that it's just us.
I think she has to log off, but I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
She has to click the little.
The IG Live is not my expertise, so.
No problem.
Do you know what I have to click? I'm
think
not sure.
there's a little X on the top screen. You might have
Oh,
like a little X or something. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Thank you for knowing that. I
Oh yeah, I
appreciate
didn't even know. I just figured.
that.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you so
great.
much for having me. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
I'm happy you are here. What's going
Yeah,
on?
I'm so excited. So my issue is self-discipline. Like that issue, like I'm really gifted. I've been told I'm really gifted. I have like 5-star reviews across the board for everything, but my thing is like I'm not showing up for myself properly.
Mm,
And my thing is like I don't know what I need to do in order to show up properly in order to attract my soulmate clients that are consistent. And I know that it's self-discipline, but I just don't know how to get out of that issue.
okay. So my first question to you is how do you define showing up properly? What is your definition of that right now?
Being disciplined, having a schedule, um, that's the main thing is like having a schedule. My thing is like I can work best when I make actual lists when I write them down.
Hmm.
But I don't know what it is, but it's like I'm dragging my feet to it and it feels like a chore. And it
Okay.
bothers me because it's like not a chore. It's like my act, it's what I'm supposed to be doing. Do you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Does
Hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So I kind of want to set being disciplined to the side for a second. And so right now, to you, the way that your consciousness defines showing up for yourself the right way is by doing it on a schedule. That's what you ideally want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if I was to ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 100, 1 to 100%, how much do you enjoy working based on a schedule you create? If
I
you can
would
put
say,
everything.
I would say like 90,
Okay.
90%. Yeah.
So you enjoy abiding by this schedule.
And it's like my brain works when I write it out, but if I don't write it out, then it's just all over the place. And I know I've noticed that about me because I'm learning how to show up for me, for the Intuitive Goddess, which is my brand, and for Lizbeth, right?
Hmm.
But I don't know where that, because I feel like it's like a place from like childhood or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like keeps lingering and it's just like, no, no, no. And of course, maybe it comes boils down to worthiness, but it's just I want to learn how to get out of that. Like what it. Anyways, I'm gonna let you do. Like, I'm gonna give you the floor.
Okay. You're not gonna like my challenge,
No.
but I but I have a challenge for you. Um, my challenge for you is to remove the pressure from requiring discipline of yourself for a while. Like let's say give yourself like a week of I don't need to be disciplined. Discipline, we don't need to do that. This doesn't have to happen. There's no obligation for me to be disciplined. When I say that, what comes up?
When you say that, I feel like I'm already doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just like, okay, that's not
The next The
productive.
next layer, though,
Mhm.
is I'm going to let myself be undisciplined without judgment and without the requirement that I be disciplined. The best thing right now in this now moment is for me to not be disciplined.
Mhm. Mhm. The judgment part is what stuck out to me when you said that.
Because right now you're seeing not being disciplined as wrong, bad. I should not be doing this. I should be
Mhm.
being disciplined. But the thing is, like, you are someone who's disciplined, and you are someone who naturally like wants to abide by a schedule. But
Mhm.
you're making yourself wrong in moments where maybe that's not what you feel like doing. Like maybe your energy is not. Right now, we're not disciplined. Right now, that's just not the vibe. That's not what's happening right now. But every time you tell yourself, this shouldn't be happening, I shouldn't be like this,
Mhm.
you're creating distance from
Mhm.
like you and yourself. Like you're saying like you are wrong, you are bad, the way that you are is
Mhm.
wrong, bad. We need to fix something about the way that we're doing things.
So being more gentle on myself and just observing it, not judging it.
Observing it and knowing that you are someone who is disciplined inherently.
Mhm. And then that's an energy.
Hard stuff to come home, my dogs might get loud. Hold on one second.
Mhm.
Okay, they're good. Okay, keep
Oh,
going.
was gonna say that's an energetic frequency that's attached to me. That judgment is a negative energy. And I know that you say things differently, but the way that I'm seeing it, what I'm feeling it right now, is that the judgment is as a negative or lower vibrational energy that is attached to anything I'm doing.
Right. And so like it could be, right? Okay, so let's say the judgment is a lens that you're looking through, right? And right now you're in an experience with life where being disciplined is just not, it's just not what's happening right now, right? But when you have this lens of judgment that you're doing things wrong, or that like you need to correct or fix what you're doing, you're saying, oh, this lack of discipline, that's who you are, and it's bad. Where like maybe right now your body's like, I just want to chill out. Like I just kind of want to exist. And this is about starting to understand and be in a relationship with your natural rhythms. And the beautiful thing about that, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. What did you say?
I was saying the beautiful thing about that is that you know you're disciplined. So like, there doesn't need to be a fear of like, okay, what if I'm not disciplined? But you are. You just, maybe you're not doing that right now.
Got it. I think that is just like a thorn on my side that has just hasn't allowed me to move forward in my life. So thank you for that observation, and I see you, sis, and I appreciate you, queen.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for popping on and being honest and open. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you so much. Peace.
Bye. And now you know how to exit. So anyone who heard in the beginning how to exit, memorize that, because I don't know.
I'll exit out and I'll come back in.
All right, we have one more person in the queue. Hello. How's it going?
How are you? Hola from Mexico City.
Fun. I'm sweaty. My partner just turned on the AC, so I should be good in a second. What's going on?
So yeah, on a project with a friend.
So your sound is cutting out a lot. I don't know if that's me or you.
Probably me, because I'm on a roof.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Because I'm seeing your mouth, but I'm not hearing anything sometimes.
Oh shit. Okay. Hang on. Let me see. No? Are we good?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
You hear me? Okay. So yeah, similarly to what other people have been going through, I struggle with the believing I have a thriving online business of like selling art, because like I think it boils down to like, is it useful to people? Like I know that I really love it, like that's not an issue. I'm like really stoked about making all the things, but I think I don't know, I think I have trouble valuing it like in a actual like buying exchange way.
So for you, value is associated with being useful.
Yeah, like I'm like, how is this directly helping somebody besides them enjoying it? You know?
Is everything you buy useful?
No.
Interesting.
Most things, no, actually.
Curious.
That
is very interesting.
Yeah.
So other people can sell things that they have no use, but for some reason you.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, portals are cool, but like, does anyone want to buy a portal? Like, how is it going to help them? And then I'm like, I kind of know how, but there's like a little bit of a.
Do you want them to be helpful, or do you feel like they need to be to have value?
I think I want it to like I think I want it to be helpful too.
Okay, because then I would approach it in two different ways, right? Because if it was like a matter of I believe that they must be useful to have value, then like we want to look at another illusion of value for you to start to walk down the path of that. But since there's a desire for your work to be helpful, what I want you to play with first and foremost is that your desire to help is inherently your desire to help. You are the one who wants to create something helpful. That's
Yeah.
really, really important for you to own. Because the best way that I can describe this is that like being helpful is something that is based on perception. You have to perceive yourself as helpful. Whether or not you are helpful is an illusion. Like there's no real way to confirm
Right, that's not
that.
really
Like,
up to me.
right. So like let's say, okay, I help people make $1 million. Cool, you help them make $1 million and then they ruin their life with $1 million at a terrible time. Like, so like there's helpfulness is something that you need to decide that you are doing for you. You enjoy the sensation of offering help.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that I would play with owning. I love the feeling of offering help. What comes up when I say that?
And I think like now that like you're reflecting it to me, I think what I really associate help in my specific way that I'm after is like opening people up to like more joy, like more like just like being like happy to be alive and feeling more alive, and like not like I need to fix something for them helping, but like an opening. It feels like an expansive kind of thing.
Okay. So how much do you believe that when you're creating something that you're opening up that portal for someone else, so that you're assisting someone in opening up that portal?
Like it does feel like I'm not making it for just myself when I'm making it. Like it's like a conversation with something else.
Okay. And so something that can be really, really helpful to play with is understanding that there are certain people who want a portal to joy in the way that you create a portal to joy. So for some people, their portal to joy is eating a lot of green vegetables. I eat a lot of green vegetables, and that's how I access joy. For some people, it's like maybe the clothing that they're wearing. That's their preferred way of accessing joy, right? So people have their preferred ways of accessing certain things, and you are through your desire to create in a certain way, you just happen to be the vessel for someone else's desire to access joy.
Yeah, like when I feel most in alignment is like when I am a vessel, or like I think of like myself being an instrument, like of sorts, you know, like I'm co-creating. It's not just me, and like so if it's not just me, then it's got to speak to somebody else also, and it's like it must be a message somehow, you know.
And do you spend the majority of your time tapped into the truth to you that it is a conversation that's being had, that you're being a vessel?
Yeah, that feels very clear to me. Like that feels like I'm quite intimate with that. It's just the sharing, the disconnect between an audience or like or not an audience, but like, you know, the people to receive that work feels a little fuzzy for me.
What aspect of that feels fuzzy?
I guess like having to promote it myself, probably, like in order for people to know about it.
What aspect of that feels fuzzy?
It feels like performative, or like I don't know. I don't know. I think I had associated cheapening like the work or something.
So when you are showing up and you're offering this, like, here is an opportunity for you to access joy. When you are showing up and you're offering that, you're feeling like there's a performative energy there.
Yeah, well, I guess I associate it with like having to promote myself feels like I have to step into some sort of like other energy.
Okay.
Feel...
And it's an energy that you don't want to step into.
Yeah, I would rather just be like my chaotic and like creative self.
What would happen if you did that? Why aren't you doing that?
I don't know. I feel like it's too much sometimes. Like it's messy.
Okay, it's messy and it's too much. And if it's messy and it's too much, then what?
Then people won't trust me.
Okay, and then if people don't trust you, then what?
Then they won't believe in what I'm offering them.
Okay, so there are going to be people who think that what you're doing is messy and they can't trust you and they won't believe in what you're offering, but they probably wouldn't be able to even utilize what you're offering
Right. They're not my people.
Yeah, they might not even like be able to use your work in the way that you want it to be used in the first
Right.
place, right?
So it's like,
So,
but yeah, because in life I'm like I like when I'm deliberately off-putting to the wrong people, because like if you're not my people, then that's great. That saves me time. It saves you time. Awesome. But like,
so in life you're willing to
yeah,
do it, but for some reason in online, would you say is where you're not as willing to do it?
yeah, it feels weirder.
Okay, well, my challenge to you is to do it, to be messy online. We're not doing a bunch of energetic work around this. We're doing physical things, and that's you being messy and realizing like, oh wait, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that I'm doing in person, where I'm letting myself be off-putting to people. I'm doing that same exact thing online.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Adios.
All right. Bye bye bye.
Bye bye bye.
Celeste. I think. Oh, also, I heard about an X. Hello, that you have to press. Oh, there. Awesome. Hello, hello. Welcome.
Hi, hello. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I think I'm allergic to pollution. I'm discovering. I didn't know this, but I moved, and so now I
I
need to.
know. It's also that spring shift, I think.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
True. I forgot about spring.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Hi, so I'm in the middle of your visibility course right now. I love it so much. It's like really opened up a lot in me. So I think that I have taken a really long time to get to the point of feeling safe to be visible. Um, and now it's almost like there's this huge shift. And so now I'm like, oh, okay, like now what? I think I'm looking for some kind of like physical results, but I don't know exactly what that is. So I feel like I've done something huge, but then I'm like, oh, okay, so like what does that mean for my business? Like what does that mean physically? So I'm kind of like in this in between waiting for something, but I don't know what.
What do you want
Yeah.
it to mean?
What do I want it to mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, hmm. What do I want visibility to mean?
Yeah. What do you want the like? Let's say the external
Oh, okay,
experience to
okay.
change. What would you like that to look like?
Yeah. Mm, I mean, I'm trying to like uh shift my business and like kind of combine like beauty and like wellness kind of elements. So like I would want it to be like me actually getting to take my business forward
What
rather
does
than
that look like?
Um, hmm. I guess like hosting more events or like seeing people. So I'm a hairstylist, but I kind of want to shift it out of like seeing them. Sorry.
I love it.
Yeah, like seeing them like one-on-one outside of the salon as well to kind of like go deeper into work. I also like really love the work that you do. Like, I don't know, like elements of that, but like, yeah. So I don't know. I guess I
So,
haven't really defined exactly what I want that to
sounds
look.
like you want to host an event.
Yeah. 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 I know. And also like what I want to do down the line is actually open up a space. So I feel like my fears around being visible were like a huge step in actually like showing up and doing that. But it's like me right now to like, opening up a space. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, like
Like
hosting an event
write it
would be
down. Write
closing.
that down. Put it somewhere. One day I want to open up a space. Put it there. Boom. Whenever it feels good to think about that and dream about that and like, whoa, this is gonna be so beautiful and amazing. Do that. But when it feels like that's so far away, put it aside.
Yeah.
What is right in front of me right
Yeah.
now that I'm like obviously desiring?
Yeah.
Um, and like I love when people have big, huge, like wild dreams. I think that it's really beautiful. I think that it's something that it can act as like a north star, and of course, like you run into it. It happens eventually, but
Mm-hmm.
When you are constantly aware of how far away it is, it perpetuates how far away it
Mm-hmm.
is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I recommend, I'm like, write it down, put it somewhere, and then look at it when it feels fun and it feels like you're moving towards it. And then when you're not feeling that, look somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times, like there's times where you're here to extend the vision, and there's times where you're here to shorten the vision
Mm-hmm.
in that line of sight. And it can feel kind of like blurry, right? When you're like, I don't really know what I want next. I don't know what I want
Yeah.
next. And that can often happen when your focus is like all the way over there, because you're literally like, your vision is out of focus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So crystallizing it down into, okay, what do I actually want to experience next? Like when you said, I want to move forward, that was blurry, out of focus. And then I'm like, what do you mean by that? Oh, I want to host an event. Like you literally immediately clarified what you wanted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how does that feel to kind of shorten the focus on what you want to experience next?
Yeah. That feels really good because I mean, I know how to do that. And I think that my biggest challenges when I was doing that like prior to the visibility program, felt a lot scarier.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's almost like, oh, that's interesting. What would that feel like now that I've like stepped into this new kind of reality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's, I mean, that's like, it's hard for us to see the exact chain of events that's going to allow us to create an experience for ourselves. And like certain versions of us literally cannot see certain realities. Like it's we're just not the people who are able to see certain things for ourselves.
Mhm.
And so that development of getting to know parts of yourself, bringing certain parts of yourself to the surface who are able to get you to where you want to go, it's a gradual journey that's always happening. You're always bringing these versions and these parts of yourself to the surface who have a different vision than
Mhm.
you. They have like different glasses they can put on. They're like, oh, I can see that now. This is now that I'm here, we're going there. This is what's next.
Mhm.
And so it makes sense that is the case.
Yeah. Mhm.
Cool.
Mhm. Yeah, that's just like exactly like my pattern, and you just like
It's a lot of
answered it so quickly. I'm like, oh, yeah, like what is in front of me right now?
it's often
Yeah.
so much more simple, and we know that the answers are so available to us when we're asking the right
Mhm.
questions, and when we're like talking to the to certain parts of ourselves. Will this be saved? I'll see. Sometimes I like when things are ephemeral. Sometimes I like when things are saved. I don't know. But thank you for hopping up. There's no one else in the queue. So, I mean, I'm going to wait a second to see if there's anyone else who wants coaching. If not, we'll hop off and then I'll decide if I want to save it or not. But yes, so my assignment to you
Yeah.
is, okay, I want to plan an event
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
and get a move on that.
Yeah. What about for things that I haven't done and I don't know how to do yet?
Oh, sorry?
Like I feel like okay, like planning an event, and there's also like things that I haven't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
That I guess like I feel scarier, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like like I don't know, showing up online in different ways and yeah.
Like take it piece by piece, right? Don't try to get everything done at the same time. Like I'm gonna try to do everything all at once. It can be, and that's kind of that's that like focus thing, right? Where like
Mhm.
sometimes it's great to have this wide focus where you're kind of like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's times where it's like, okay, let's refine
Yeah.
down to what is right next in front of me, like what I can grasp,
Yeah.
and let that be sufficient. Oftentimes when I feel like, okay, I need to figure out everything at the same, it's because we think that like something has to be done. Like this, we have to get it together. There's something like we need to hurry up and do this, and it's like we don't. There's no rush. Let it unfold, but grasp what is graspable, and then allow yourself to grow, grasping what is graspable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's so good.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, an analogy I like to think of is like rock climbing, where it's like don't
Oh,
try to grab the rock that's out of reach. You're gonna fall off. You're gonna
so
slip off
good.
the damn wall. So
Yeah.
grab the rock that you can grab.
Yeah, that is so good. I'll be like looking at the top. I'm like, how am I gonna get there? Like,
Look at that comment. Look at that comment down there. You see that?
yeah,
From
I did.
from Dog Rose Studio. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Thank you so much.
Period.
Thank
Love
you.
that.
Well, thank you
Okay.
so much. I really appreciate it.
So you're so welcome. I think you have to click some sort of X, they say, to be able to get off.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you so much. I'm popping into the queue. Remember the stipulations to join the queue. Okay. And then you have to have your camera on, and then you request to join the live. But there's several people now, so we'll see. I think I did a thing.
Hello.
Bonjour.
Hi. Honestly, this feels good. Like I was kind of hesitating to join, but I'm happy that I did. So the thing is that currently I have a business. I work as a consultant, but I've been feeling this need, this excitement to start something new in a not a path that is not the one that I had, right? And then I have followed your work, and I know that I'm the creator of my own reality, but I kind of feel that this thing that it's stopping me, that I have to be an authority to make sure that, like I'm being seen and that I can take that step. And of course, I'm just putting the effort and just doing it. And, I know the authority part of it will come in the way. But yeah, if you have any tips of like challenges on like how to move forward when changing a path,
Mm-hmm.
and not letting that that you don't know everything to stop you, because you feel that that's because I feel that that's the way that I have to follow, right? But I know that I don't know everything, but I know I really feel it in me. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've been going in a direction, you've been doing a certain thing, and you're looking to start to pivot in a new direction.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So you're
Yes.
looking to pivot in a new direction. You're looking to um, start. You're a beginner in this place where you feel like you know that you're called to this, but you also you're a beginner.
Yes. Yes.
And is it that the feeling of being a beginner feels like it's like slowing you down, or like what is the sensation here?
Yes, for sure. It feels like it's slowing me down. And because I'm a beginner and I'm like not like that recognized that much, it also kind of makes me like, ooh, it's scary, but I know that I should do it. But that's how I feel. Like being a beginner is slowing me down, and it's not letting me to fully maybe commit to it, because I'm also like I feel a sense of like being scared because I'm a beginner.
I think that's normal. And I think that it's helpful that in the beginning you aren't, ooh, child, Lord Jesus, aren't fully committed because you've just started, right? So it's like allowing the beginning of the relationship with this thing I was speaking about. I don't know if I recorded that video. Maybe I didn't record it. I don't know. I was speaking about how everything is relationships. Like you're building a relationship with your business, you're building a relationship with like life, God, source, whoever, relationships with people. But in the beginning, slowing yourself down, honestly, even sometimes when you're not in the beginning, slowing yourself down, but sometimes slowing yourself down is a mechanism that allows you to build trust with yourself in this area and trust with this new thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so immediate commitment and speed, if it feels like things must be fast and I must commit now, think about like a relationship with that, right? Like you just met someone and they're like, you need to commit to me right now and we need to hurry up. Like just imagine that, right? Like you've just met this person and they're like, we're getting married tomorrow.
Yeah, that feels like no way. I'm not like doing it.
And
Yeah.
so my coaching for you is enjoying this process of being a beginner and not but realizing that like speed and intensity isn't always like better. It doesn't mean that like going fast or being more like this is the best option. What I'd say, like, what would it look like to prioritize your enjoyment of like tasting this new thing, getting to know this new thing?
Okay. Okay.
What
I mean, yeah,
comes up next to that?
this feels like one part of me feels very good about it. One
Mhm.
part of me feels like you have to put the work and maybe it's not gonna enjoy it. You know, like I feel these two dualities of it. Like, yes,
Mhm.
enjoy it, but at the same time, it's like you will not enjoy it that much. These two dualities come to me, and yeah, that's what I feel.
There's a part of you that's kind of it wants it to be um, challenging. Is that how you would? If I was to, is that reflection correct or?
No, I actually want it to be ease. I just want it like to be ease and fast. That's what it comes to me. Like it feels like because it feels so connected to what I feel and like it feels so right. I kind of want it to get it now, right? That's how I feel. And there's two dualities is the fact that yeah, I enjoy that process, but I know that also, it will be challenging.
And I just want you to keep returning to relationships, right?
Okay.
So you just met someone, you're having a great time. You've gone on 5 dates with them, you're having a wonderful time. If there's a voice that's saying, I want to marry them tomorrow, I need to marry them right now, what would you say to that voice that's saying we should marry them immediately?
One part of me will be like, maybe, we'll be keep trying. But of course, another part of me will be like, hey, Christina, you're not. That's a little bit crazy. So that's why I like the two dualities that I have.
And so just keeping in conversation with that part of yourself that's like, okay, we need to like hurry up and commit to this. Being aware of like where they're coming from, right? So
Okay.
like the part of you that's like, okay, we need to hurry up and like lock this down. Um, Being aware of where it's coming from. And then when it feels fun to commit to it, and it feels like that feels like a fun next step for me, the door's open to take that next step. It feels
Okay.
like, yeah, this is the fun choice to make. This is what feels like this is the easeful choice to make.
Yeah.
Challenge is, I feel a challenge is part of the human experience. And that could be a limiting belief of mine. Challenge is inevitable. But when it feels like, oh, I must do this fast, there's often an alternative like desire underneath it. There's like an underneath energy that like wants to lock it down quickly, and just addressing that self who's like, we need to hurry up.
Okay. Okay.
You're like, why? Why do you believe we need to hurry up?
Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. Like, yeah. Yeah. I'm not asking those questions. Those questions feel right now. Like they feel good. Like, yeah, they feel good.
Just taking a moment to ask yourself, like, what is the purpose in me hurrying right now? And returning to, I want to enjoy this process of getting to know this beautiful thing that I'm feeling called to.
Yeah. Yeah. Will you recommend having a timeline jump like with this kind of like aim to enjoy the process?
Is that a priority for you to enjoy the process? Does that feel like this is what I want to be doing?
No, but now that we have this conversation, maybe there's something like it feels now like yeah, like you want it fast, but also like enjoyment also kind of like grab something there and it feels like nice.
Yeah, I mean, if enjoyment feels like a goal you want to head towards, I'd do a timeline jump about it. But the biggest thing with timeline jumping is not that you're trying to correct your behavior. It's literally that you're trying to move closer to who you want to be, the version of yourself that you're wanting more access to.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Yes.
But
Thank
yeah,
you so much.
you're so welcome. Can you clarify what you mean by established sales system? I knew that like, oh, sorry, I'm talking to someone in the chat.
No problem.
But I knew that like, that wording was going to be like, this is, but like, I just mean that you have a way for someone to buy your things, like for everyone in the chat. When I say established, no, hold on.
Okay. I don't know if anyone else in the queue, but I'm gonna like.
There's someone else. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pop them up. I'm just
I'm
gonna go in order. Yeah, there's an X I hear. Yeah, established sales system. I just mean there's a way for you to make a sale. Like there's you've made one before, and that system that you used to make the sale, it exists now. I just don't want to have someone who's like never done a sale ever, and they're like, how do I make my first sale? Because I'm like, we got a lot to talk about, and I can't talk about all that on this call. Hopefully that answers your question. Hello.
Hi. Is this me? Am I really on here with you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That just happened, and it was a little unexpected. I can fulfill that desire of somebody who's never done a sale. I'm transitioning my business. I've had many years of creating unique services and selling them in different cities and things like this, but I have not given myself the effort, or I am in the process of transitioning. I'm working really hard at it into selling my paintings, and beyond selling my paintings as an artist who's selling paintings, I'm interested in like selling my installations, like grand, huge ideas that need support and funding. And these are ideas that they're so present, they're so like big sound installations and, painting installations and all of this stuff. So this is where I'm at. This is where I'm moving from one aspect to another. In the process, I definitely am like taking the time for sure. My resource has been dwindling as I've been dwindling my other business. So I'm really, interested in that. That's where I'm at.
So the desire here is for installations to be fully supported.
Yes.
Okay. So my first thing, the first like that pops in my head was like the use of the word like huge, right? So your perception of this is that it's huge. And often for a lot of people, not all, but for a lot of people, when there is a perception that like a goal is huge, like there's this big thing that needs to be accomplished, it feels huge for a very, very long time. It's kind of like being at the base of a mountain, and if you're always saying like I'm climbing, or not even I'm climbing, that's the next thing I want to talk about, but there's this mountain I have to climb, there's a mountain I have to climb, there's a mountain that I have to climb. Like if you're in the state of there is a mountain I have to climb, you're always looking at that mountain from a distance. Like you're always looking at that mountain, looking at it like I have to climb this, right? The next step is to move to I'm climbing the mountain.
Yes.
Being in the process of taking those steps to allow this larger thing to unfold. And so if you were to create bite-sized steps out of the huge experience of your installations being supported, what would be a reasonable sized step that you could take?
I think approaching institutions, which I have been practicing. I have approached one and have been in several talks, and like it's still unclear whether it will happen.
How does that feel for you?
It feels okay. It feels. I want to say two words came to mind. One was painful and one was crazy in the waiting process. But my response to that is like, okay, I need to simply make them happen and self-produce it just behave. I'm just doing it. Like it doesn't matter. I'm doing it now this year so that then the thing is there. The proof is there. That's how I feel. So like, it's a matter, the next step for me, that feels like a step that's manageable. It's like, the work is done. It's just a matter of like getting the pieces in place, who I am writing those emails to those people, and just like then getting the space and then making it happen and then documenting it and then using that to apply. That's how I'm thinking about it.
Okay, so so currently, from your perception, you are in the process of climbing this mountain. Like the mountain is being climbed.
Yeah.
What do you need coaching on then?
I guess it's just, I don't know, feeling better about it. Well, here's the fear. Okay. I think that I have had experiences in the past where things come to almost fruition, and I feel like maybe it isn't a coaching thing. Maybe it's just I don't know, but like things come to almost fruition. Like for example, I've had so many meetings about this with this institution, and now it feels like it's slowing down. So I'm like, is there a part of me? Is there something in me that's not allowing it to come into fruition? You know, that's am I putting myself again in a position of having to self-produce something as opposed to accepting and receiving and being desired in those spaces and places that I want to be in?
Okay. So there is okay, it seems like you're walking up the mountain and maybe you're slipping down the mountain and you're like, is it because of the way that maybe my feet are positioned? Or is it because of the way that I have the kind of walking stick that I'm using that I'm now potentially sliding down this mountain? Okay. So what you're wanting is for the experience of climbing the mountain to feel like what? Like if you weren't experiencing the feeling of sliding back, what would it feel like then?
It would feel like even though it's a climb, it's a momentum upward and forward.
Okay. Now the beautiful thing about momentum is that it's perception first. Momentum is based off of perception. And so an interesting thing, like businesses at any moment can be crashing and burning or rising and exploding to heights that are magical. At any moment that could be happening based on the perception that someone is looking at the lens that they're looking at what's happening through. And so my question to you is, are you willing to put the lens of inevitable progress on? So even if there is the illusion in front of you that things are maybe sliding back, are you willing to, like, if you had the lens on that progress is inevitable, I'm wearing the right boots, if I'm sliding back, it's because there's maybe like a mudslide or something like that up there, and that has nothing to do with my boots being wrong or me wearing the wrong equipment. Maybe the mountain shook because that's what happens sometimes. I don't know. But progress is what is happening because I'm walking forward. Like, how would you feel about putting those glasses on? Is there resistance to putting those glasses on?
What was the last thing you said?
Is there resistance to putting on the lens of progress is what's happening?
Yeah, I think it's a habitual thing that has kept me. It's like a habit of thought and belief that's kept me in this way of thinking like it's gonna fall through.
And that's so normal. That's so normal. No, I mean that's if you're looking around at society, or like maybe even could be parental or caregiver experiences, or like even just watching TV or something like that, there is a lot of information that says that things kind of like people not actually getting to the end of what they want is normal. Like people getting to the climbing the mountain, that's not a normal thing to do. That's just, people don't reach the mountain, right? So it's really, really easy to be caught in that momentum, not only just because of your energy, but because of just life and like society. And so what I recommend when it feels like you are in a loop of momentum that is taking you like sliding down the mountain is to pause. Like pausing the illusion of everything. So instead of naming anything that is going on, positively or negatively, watching what's going on with witnessing the fact that like you're putting stories on top of what's happening, like noticing the stories you're saying about what's happening, not even trying to fix the stories yet, just noticing like I'm saying that because this person replied like this, that things are going wrong. That's really interesting. Like taking a moment to just witness the cycle or the way the momentum is moving, witness your perception of that, and that allows you, that's like the step in between movement and pause, is like watching the movement as if you're outside of the movement. And then you get to this place where you're paused and you're like, I actually don't know what direction I'm moving in. I could be going forward, I could be going backwards. I don't know.
Right.
And those moments, I was thinking about that this morning. I was thinking about when people are like, I'm lost, I don't know where I'm going. And I'm like, that is beautiful. That is amazing. That's where all the power's at, is in those times where you're like, I don't know which direction. Because you're at any moment you could be going in any direction. That's the hilarious and insane thing about being alive. One of the many insane things. And so taking pause to realize, like, notice the urge and the desire to name the direction you're going in. Watch that in yourself.
Yeah.
That is my challenge for you. And that's something that I feel like, I don't know if, at least for me, I don't know if I'll ever stop doing that practice. Like when I start to notice myself feeling like, oh my God, this thing is going terribly, or like this is like not doing what I want it to do, noticing like, that's interesting that that's what you're saying is happening.
Right. Is that the work, is that the actual practice of timeline jumping?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It happens in the middle of timeline jumping, when you're in void space, when you're in that empty dark space and you start to dissolve the names of things and you start to dissolve the ideas behind things, the meaning behind things, and then there is no meaning. It's just existence. And then by neutralizing that, you can start to inject the meaning that you desire. But a lot of times people try to skip the step of like emptying.
That feels important.
It's really helpful.
So wait, could you just tell me a little bit more about that, the emptying?
The emptying, that's the dissolving of meaning. Okay, so let's say you send an email out and you're in this loop where you're like, I'm so used to failure, or I'm used to things not going my way. Or like if we're sticking with the mountain analogy, I'm so used to sliding down the mountain. Every time I take 2 steps, I slide down 3. Like I'm so used to that, right? You get an email, someone says, unfortunately, like in the beginning of the email, you read that first line and it says unfortunately. Notice like, oh, they have turned me down and that means this. They're saying no and that means this for my future. It means this about life. It means this about me. It means that I'm not going to ever reach my dreams. Like noticing, here's all the meaning that I'm applying to every empty word that doesn't have inherent meaning on this page. I'm applying these meanings.
Right.
That's the beginning of the emptying, right? Is noticing the fact that you are creating meaning.
Okay.
And then when you notice the fact that you're creating meaning, that moment where you notice, that's when emptying starts. It just automatically starts and you're like, is that real? Like, that's interesting that's the story I'm telling myself about what's going on. And just literally just questioning that questioning, the more you question it, the emptier it gets. Yeah. The meaning starts to dissolve. The illusion starts to melt down. You're like, oh, I don't know if that's what that means. I was speaking to a client yesterday about like success and failure, and how if someone was to ask me how many times I've failed, I don't know if I would be able to tell them. Like, I don't really perceive myself as failing often because that's just a story that I don't tell myself. So I'm sure maybe if someone else was in my shoes sometimes, they could see something that I'm doing as a failure, but like that's not, because of how much I've dissolved that with like past patterns of my mom and stuff like that. But because of the amount of times I've dissolved that for myself, that's not a meaning that I apply to many things. Maybe I might apply something else, but like I personally, that's not a story that I believe in a ton. So my brain doesn't go there.
Right.
And so that like illusion, like noticing like, have I failed? I don't know. What happens is that you can literally from that moment go in any direction, because there is no direction.
Yeah, and it has happened to me even recently that I look around and I'm like, I have all this work completed. Like, why not? It's the question of like, why not? Like, why not? Why not me? Like, or that my perception is not even allowing me to see something that I've has in the past not totally allowing me to see things that I've done on the mountain so far that then
Absolutely.
move the forward motion. And it's more, I think, the habit of like, exactly, yeah, like looking at what didn't happen or whatever, and then going down that path.
And it's so wild to watch. Like you can even, like, I'll do this with like clients or even myself, where we'll, in the beginning of our time together, they're like, oh, okay, like my goal is to make 1K off of my work. And then like a few months down the line, they're making, I don't know, like 15K off of their work. And they're like, oh, I'm doing terribly. I should be making 30K off my work. And I'm like, that's such a funny thing. That is so funny. Like this illusion that you believed, and we all do it.
Yeah.
It's what we do. But it's the moments where you take a pause and you're like, wait, hold on. If this was me 3 years ago, I'd be shaking. I'd be like, what is Carney? This isn't right. And so just noticing how powerful we are in believing and creating our illusions.
Right. Did you say illusion?
Illusions, yes. Yeah. Creating, believing them, and then creating them as like, this is real.
Very interesting. Yeah. Cool.
That's my assignment to you, is to pause the momentum, and by witnessing what you're saying about the momentum.
Sounds good. And then choosing the direction.
Yes. Choosing the direction will come last. And you're going to do it over and over and over and over again. It never stops until we expire.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Yes. Oh, thank you. The next person, let's see, my battery pack. Oh, I want to go to the gym. So I think I'm going to talk to like 2 more people and then I'm going to hop off. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me. Let me know if the background noise is too loud. My kids are watching things. You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't hear anything in the background.
Okay, perfect. Honestly, listening to you coach the previous people has been so helpful, and you keep answering questions that I had and was going to ask.
It always happens.
So it keeps evolving. The place I find myself is I have a small business. I work from home, and have been working through that illusion of needing to do everything myself as a mom and a business owner, and having a narrative about where I should be by now. But waking up to the fact that there are people who have reached these goals that I have, you just mentioned this, and they look more miserable than I do. And I'm waking up to the fact that maybe I need to work on my mentality about it.
Thoughts are happening already.
So go ahead.
And let me know how you feel about this.
Okay.
I want to know how much time you spend clarifying what matters to you. Like core matters to you specifically, which desires of yours are an extension of who you are as a being. Okay. I find that a lot of times getting caught up in where I should be is because we're trying to abide by value systems that aren't ours.
Oh, okay. That's so good. So I've been learning to tap into what my core desires are, but it seems like I will tap into that and immediately go back and attach to someone else's timeline or expectation.
And the reason most people do that is because of safety, right? Because, if I attach to someone else's idea of what should be going on, then at least I know, like, I'm doing something right. Yeah. Like I'm following some path that is correct if I abide by someone else's way of doing things.
Right.
And unfortunately, I find that the best way to navigate this is developing that your desire and your values are important's not the correct word. Your desires and your values are sufficient for your safety and thriving.
Ooh, that's so good. So my desires and my values are sufficient for my safety and thriving. That sums it up. I've really
Yeah.
struggled to believe that they are sufficient. And a question literally a few minutes ago was trying to journal through, like, do I feel safe enough to pursue my values
Mm.
in business?
And
yeah.
that's big. And I always have a little bit of like with teaching safety, because the way that I did it I feel like was wild and kind of insane. But I mean, y'all are probably drawn to me for this reason, so I'm just gonna
We are.
talk about. So for me, when I was creating safety in my reality, I didn't have a ton of it, which is why I had the desire to create in the first place. But I chose to believe in my inherent safety regardless of external reality, which is where it gets spooky. That's where it's kind of like, oh, you're gonna walk outside into complete darkness and decide that you're safe. You're deciding that, and I understand how spooky and scary that is. So the big thing is that it was my priority to feel safe. That was my number one priority. My priority was like, yes, at some point I want to experience safety, but what I really want is to feel safe. That's my number one priority.
Yes.
And so when I realized, okay, my number one priority is to feel safe, cool. We're going to make that the thing. Like, that's the thing that we're aiming for, is not proof of your safety. We're not aiming for that. I want that eventually, but we want the feeling of safety to be the thing. That is our goal.
Yes.
And so, because of how scary that was, I don't know if you've heard of my contracts before. You can find your own way of doing this, or you can do it the way that I did it if you want to. But the way that I did it is I would choose to feel unconditionally safe for like 3 days at a time.
Oh, that's cool. I love that.
I'd do it for 3 days at a time, and then I'd be like, okay, nothing bad has happened. I've been safe, so I will extend it for a week. And then I would feel safe for like a week. I'd send it for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, not only has nothing gone wrong, things are actively going better in my experience. Okay, I'll extend this for like a month. Let's see what happens. And so now I don't really do the contract of safety, because I've given myself evidence that can be trusted. But
That makes sense.
to get evidence, you have to experiment.
Yes. I can
So,
see that.
what will it take for you to be willing to experiment with the idea that you create your safety, that you are the source of your safety, that you are the source, you and God, if that's something that you believe in, but you and God are the creators of your safety. And that is a very scary thing to play with at first, but when you start to gain proof of that, when you start to gain a reflection of that, it's so exhilarating. Like, it's like, oh, I'm in charge of how safe what?
Yeah.
I
That's
can grab
amazing.
safety. I have this endless vat of safety that I have access to.
Yeah. I love
And so that is my challenge for you, is if safety is the priority here, and like, safety hasn't been my priority forever. When in the beginning of messing with my business, safety was a big priority. Now it's kind of shifted, because I feel like I did that game, and you're always kind of playing with it.
Yep.
But I'm moving on to something else. But if safety is the priority right now, showing yourself that you are the creator, you and God, if that's who you believe in, or source, you and this relationship with this whoever's out there or whatever's out there, that you together are the source of the safety, or that you alone are the source of safety. That's something that's a bit more up your alley. If that's the priority, prioritizing that.
Yes. And just going ahead and saying, I'm going to risk feeling safe for 3 days, or I'm going to figure out how much I can tolerate.
Yes. You're expanding your capacity for feeling safe.
Okay. That hits. Thank you.
You're so
I will do
welcome.
that.
You're so
I so
welcome.
appreciate your work.
Thank you. you for hopping on. All right, I'm gonna talk to one other person, and then yeah. Oh wait, why isn't this opening up? There's something. Oh, strange. Hold on, y'all. There's like a spinny thing happening when I click the requests. Oh. Nani? Well, technology might be telling me to end the live. You're so welcome. I'm gonna save it, y'all. I'm gonna save it. I've decided that I'm gonna leave it on the page because I think that there's a lot of juicy things that I would feel fun about. I wanted to pull up one more person, but technology is telling me to go to the gym, I think. So I am going to hop off. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Thank you all for being here and listening and all that jazz. I'm going to delays. Yeah, I'm like, it was working full, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do one more person. I'm gonna go to the gym, but life, God, source, whoever is saying, no, you're gonna go to the gym now. So I'm gonna go to the gym now. I will. Thank y'all for being here. I'm gonna post this on the page. Y'all are wonderful. Love you. Bye.